Well, the Octomom was in court today. They're making a reality TV show about her and her kids, and the court wants to make sure that the kids get their share of the money. Joining us is syndicated radio talk show host SpencerHughes. Spencer, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot.
From the beginning, people suggested this was simply a money grab by Nadia Suleiman. What do you think of the Octomom?
Well, I think she'd be really cool if she were a Cocker Spaniel, but I don't think humans are designed to have so many kids. I've got 6 kids myself, so I've got a big family. But I think it's just shameful what she's putting these kids through. And, you know, what American nowadays wouldn't take a reality show offered to them? So you can't really fault her from the capitalist viewpoint. But I think these kids are just going to be really, really messed up, and they're going to make a therapist a lot of money someday. I don't think it's fair to these kids.
And already, and what troubles me is, and you figured it was a money grab from the beginning, but already, here comes the money, $250,000 just like that. Mission accomplished. In essence, she's just being paid. She got them, and now they start cashing in on her.
Absolutely. And what's really sad, I think, Fred, is Americans are so fixated on the train wreck. I mean, my wife and I have a beautiful family. We have 6 kids. We wouldn't make a good reality show. There's no train wreck involved. You know, we have our discussions and our disagreements and our fights, and the kids talk back, as kids will do sometimes. But it's scary that you have to be an absolute social deviant to be offered these types of contracts. It's crazy.
All right, nationally, Sarah Palin is officially the former governor of Alaska. Some have called her a quitter, quit on her state. Does this help her or hurt her in the Republican Party? Is she the face of the Republicans, Spencer?
I don't know if she's the face of the Republican Party, but she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. There was a recent poll just last week, I think, that shows in 2012 Obama only beating her by 5 points for president. That's not good for Obama as his polls continue to drop on a day-to-day basis. I think last couple of days was the first time that his approval numbers, the index on Rasmussen was -10. That's awful for this president, as popular as he was going in. And what's interesting, Fred, is that nobody called Hillary a quitter when she dropped out of her term early, or Joe Biden. And let's not forget that President Obama should still be Senator Obama, and everyone seemed to forgive him for that. He should still be a senator right now.
You know, but when you talk about his numbers falling in the polls and his approval rating, here's what I find very interesting, Spencer. When you watch the conventional media, you don't really hear that. When you watch mainstream media, you don't hear that the approval rating has fallen.
No, I don't know, Fred, how long they can hide this. I mean, it's an amazing fact that a lot of people, I get Obama supporters every day calling saying that they're a sham, that these polls aren't real, they can't be real, but I don't know how they can keep hiding these numbers showing a very, very unpopular president this soon into his term, with all the promises that he made and all the energy and enthusiasm behind his election.
Was Sarah Palin vilified because she was running against basically Obama? Because when it came right down to it, it wasn't John McCain against Obama. It was Sarah Palin against Obama. Who had more charisma? Who had more charm? Obama was the winner. Did Sarah Palin get vilified?
I think so. And what's interesting, too, Fred, is that liberals always say, you know, respect the woman and we need women in high positions of office. And that's why they're scared to death. They know they wouldn't be running scared like this about Sarah Palin if she wasn't a force to be reckoned with. Whether you like her or not, she's somebody that the Democrats have to be worried about. She's a rising force. And I don't believe necessarily that the people of Alaska see her as a quitter. We were up there. My wife and I had our honeymoon in Alaska in May. And people are just talking about her left and right, all positive that we heard. Governor Schwarzenegger would love to be so universally loved by the people of his state as Sarah Palin is. So I don't really believe that people see her as a quitter, even in her own state, especially if she decides to run for president in 2012. All that enthusiasm is just going to rise to the surface again.
All right, let me move on here. Animal lovers will never forgive Michael Vick for what he did, dogfighting. Convicted, sentenced to 23 months, the last 2 in home confinement. The NFL is going to let him come back and play after sitting out up to 6 games this season. All right, Spencer, did the NFL have a choice? He did his time. Is it right to let him back?
You know, I think so. I'm not a big Michael Vick fan. I'm not much of a sports guy, as you know, Fred. But what I find interesting is I always use kind of the spaceman analogy, that if I were like a Venusian coming to Earth and I read the headlines, I'd think that Michael Vick committed capital homicide. I would think that he killed children. I would think that he was a serial killer. I'm not belittling what he did to these animals, but I despise Chris Brown for punching Rihanna far worse than anything Michael Vick did. I think this elevation of animals to sainthood almost is ridiculous. I remember a case in the Bay Area where a guy got into a road rage incident with this woman, and he took her Bichon Frise, those little white fluffy dogs, and threw it out into the fast lane. And it was a horrifying story, but the way people talked about it on and on and on, you'd think that he took her child and threw it into the fast lane. I think we're losing our minds when it comes to keeping in perspective what Michael Vick did. It was awful, but you're right, he did the time, and I don't think the NFL had any choice but to reinstate him.
Yeah, but, you know, Spencer, I think that if you're an animal lover, you look at animals as little souls, and your responsibility is to take care of them and nurture them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because ultimately all they want to do is love you if they're your pet. And I just think that those who really love animals are really going to have a difficult time supporting Michael Vick. And I'm wondering if a franchise signs them, is that franchise going to be tainted now? Are they going to have to deal with the repercussions of signing Michael Vick?
I think so. I don't think it'll ever be the same again. I certainly don't think he's going to be making the bucks that he did before, even without endorsements. But I can't imagine people running to him to have him be their spokesman anytime soon. I think he's scarred for life when it comes to that.
Spencer, I appreciate your time. This is great of you to do it. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. My pleasure.
All right. You have a good night, Spencer. Thanks.